They're doing well. And they have tomatoes on them. Well, somewhere they do. Not as many as I thought. This is a new variety that I'm growing, and they're on the other side of the trellis. This is a black creme. And we have some tomatoes started on these. These are heirloom tomatoes. So they're the old school looking tomatoes. You get a good look at that? Not really. That's not too bad. And there's a few more of them. There's another one over here. They're not real prolific, but from what I understand, they're excellent tasting tomatoes, so we'll see how they turn out. And I've got a couple of those Thai basil plants down here to help try to confuse the neighborhood bugs. I've been spraying BT on these plants once a week to keep the caterpillars from destroying them. And let's see, that's the fourth one over. No, it's the third one over. This, okay, so we've got some more of those black cremes down here, it looks like. 1, 2, yeah. And then here, this is a Juliet tomato, which has always been a good producer. It's got some grape-sized tomatoes on it. No, I mean plum-sized tomatoes. And it puts a ton of tomatoes on it. And they're good. They're nice in salads because you eat the whole thing. You don't have to put salad away that's got cut tomato in it. Things seem to be doing well. I've had the plants knocked down a few times when I didn't tie them up when I should have. So as you can see, there's places where I put jute on there to hold them in place so they don't blow over. This plant here looks very happy. These are the, actually these are, oh, I already showed you these. These are the heirlooms, which I don't grow very often. They are a little persnickety about how you feed them and their environment, so sometimes they do well, and sometimes, well, actually I've only grown them once and they didn't do well, so we'll see what happens. The potatoes, they look awesome. I had a little bug in this one over here, and he was eating everything in the middle of that, and I grabbed a hold of him and pinched him until his guts were smished all over my fingers. And ever since then, the plant's been doing pretty good. And then look at this little guy down here. That is a whole potato plant that has been assaulted by bugs its entire life and picked on relentlessly, regardless of all the other opportunities around it. But from what I understand, bugs will pick on the weakest plant, and he is definitely the weakest plant. And there's another basil plant. This is Genovese basil that I saved seed from. Excellent. That's the best tasting stuff of all the basils, in my opinion. You can get all the fancy different ones, but that one tastes the best. And it's the simplest to grow. Here's another one there. And look at how tall this potato plant is. I mean, this potato plant is tall. I don't know if that worked right or not. Maybe I could try switching this around. I don't know how to do that. Anyway, it's a pretty big plant. He's as tall as those, almost as tall as those tomato plants. And try to put things in perspective a little bit here. And there's the bathtub over there, which is an excellent growing area. I've always controlled the soil there. This is a thing that I made about 4 or 5 years ago. I took these cedar logs that I had. That's Ginger showing off in front of the camera. And I put them together, and I did kind of a hugel culture thing where I added a lot of organic material, some logs and stuff like that, not logs, but branches and stuff like that, and then dirt that I got at a place up in Austin that sells, and I had like a pickup load of dirt, and then I mixed that in with the compost I had. So it's okay. Anyway, I'm growing some onions in here, and they're doing okay. We'll see how they do. They're great for greens. I haven't seen a lot of bulbing up on these onions. These are Texas 1015s. Here's a catnip plant. Oh, I didn't show you my other tomatoes, I just noticed. And these are zucchinis. One of them kind of has whitish veins on the leaves. I'm not sure about how that is, but different plants are different, so that might just be normal. I'm not sure. That one leaf, though, look at it. Kind of weird looking. Anyway, and those over there are yellow zucchini, and more onions. And there's a couple of basil plants, if you look close, right there. And there's another catnip plant, and a couple more basils. There's different, that's licorice basil right there. And I have like 5 different kinds of basil, so we'll see how they do. Some onion plants on the perimeter, and this is my patch of red beets. There's Detroit red, and I forgot the name of the other ones. But anyway, there's 2 different kinds of beets there. And I'm not sure which is which, so you know, as long as they're good, we'll see. The leaves look great, and I love beet greens. So if the beets don't bulb up real good, I don't care, because I'll eat the beet greens all day long. And over here we have some pole beans. Actually, these are pinto beans. I didn't know they were pole beans, but I planted them around a bunch of cucumber plants that I'm growing because of the whole nitrogen fixer idea and companion planting. And they're getting so big, they're competing, it seems like, with the cucumbers a little bit. But we're hoping to get a lot of cucumbers, and this is an old bed spring that I made into a trellis, and I'm going to have to put another one on the front of this tub. I'm going to make another one that's like those over there to put on the front of this tub for the beans, because I didn't know they were pole beans. I didn't know pinto beans were pole beans, but I was wrong, and I need to get, obviously, you can see the strings on them. Look at this one. It's all the way up here. So that one's like almost as tall as I am. And so it's time to put a trellis up for them to crawl on so they don't compete for sun with the cucumbers. This is where I like to come and sit and get bitten by mosquitoes. And there's some carrots down there that aren't going to do anything. And there's some marigolds here that will. Look at all those tomatoes. Oh, I forgot to show you these. These are the big beef hybrids. And these are the, you know, one of the best new hybrids. They put more tomatoes on them and bigger, nicer tomatoes than just about anything that you can grow around this part of Texas. And down here is the Early Girl, which I planted seeds from like 4-year-old seed packets. And I didn't get very many, but this plant has more tomatoes on it than any other plant I have. And it's got the newest ones, or the biggest, newest ones. Anyway, there's 4 tomatoes on that thing. I don't know if you can see them the way I'm taking the picture. And then there's another cluster of them up here. This is one plant, it's got 8, and these are going to be big, nice tomatoes. Early Girl is from the Big Boy, Better Boy line of tomato plants, and it comes out earlier every year. And I've grown them for at least a decade, and they always are the earliest, and they always produce. I've never had a plant fail of the Early Girl variety. Yet if you go on Texas A&M's website, they don't recommend that variety for Central Texas. It's the best one. So there you go. We've got a nice little garden tour here. A couple of nice puppies. They like eating the hackberry leaves, and you know the grass is always greener on the other side of the fence, so that's what they're doing. So move along. That's about it, boys and girls. We got a pretty good jump on the season here. We had good rain this year, and things are looking good. I've tried to, I've used BT quite. I try to do it every week to keep the bugs from destroying my crop, because they will do that here if you don't pay attention. I built this fence to keep the deer out, and so far so good. I'm leaving everything open, so if they get in here, it's going to be a catastrophe. But I don't think they can. I mean, they might be able to, but I don't think they'd chance it. Mary Jo's fence is 5 foot high, and we have 5 foot across the back, and this is 6 foot high here. So we're hoping that we grow enough food to get us through for some time, because you never know what's going to happen this year. It's definitely the strangest phenomena I've lived through. And we hope to have a good harvest and be able to sustain ourselves in the case of dire food shortages. So you never know what's going to happen, guys and gals. Grow something you like to eat, because the rest of it's a waste. Bye for now.